you cannot miss, which you have never seen before.
Hey everyone, it's Blue Lizard Jello, and welcome back to Everything Possible in the Surge 2. This time we'll be taking on the Kraken, the Surge's DLC. In order to access the Kraken, you do need to have beaten General Ezra Shield, so it's about halfway through the game, and then once you've beaten him, and we all know the events that take place after that, you'll have to make your way through corrupted Jericho City and make your way over here to Seaside Court. Now, if you've unlocked the fast travel system, then you could take the pipe transport all the way from Cloud9 Bar to Seaside Court to make it easier. In terms of what level you should be, there's no developer recommended level, but I would say that at an absolute bare minimum, CP 40 is going to be where it's at, and even then that might be just a tad under leveled. I'm going in at core power 63. I've run through it a few times at this level, and it's enough of a challenge that it seems fair, but at the same time I'm not just mowing over everything. I tried it at about core power 70 and it was just a little bit on the easy side. But speaking of the gear that I'll be using in my run, I do have the Reinforced Gouger, but I also have the Helix of the Delver, both of these weapons upgraded to Mark 7. And then I'm wearing the entirety of the Nano Ward gear set. Take a look at the set bonuses. It reduces the stamina cost of blocking attacks, but also with the full set, and this is pretty interesting, if you successfully directionally block an enemy attack, in other words use that directional parry system, it'll trigger a nano explosion, which is pretty fun. In terms of my implants, I do have the Muscular Enhancement Injection. Okay, so it's going to increase my damage by 10%, both of normal damage and electric damage, just for a little while. Omni Health Observer, Metavoltaic Injection, of course, Robotic Disruptor. All of the enemies, every enemy that you fight in the Kraken is a robot. There's not a single human to fight unless you take one optional fight at the very end, and even then I still think that actually counts as robotic, but more on that later. I have the Deflection Damage Enhancer, Physical Aggression Redirector. There's a couple of fights where I want to make sure that I'm getting the cuts if at all possible, so this is a really good addition. I have the Deflection Hardener, Adrenal Harvester, and Directional Block Analyzer, so I know how to directionally block. And then of course I do have my selection of drone modules. I am kind of pulling out all the stops here. Proximity Mines, Engineer's Turret, the Vanguard Missile, you name it, I'm bringing it. Right, but without any further ado, let us head into Port Nixon, and we'll have a message for us right away.
Excuse me, ma'am. It's me, Harold. I have received the most distressing distress call. A former Creole engineer has run ashore in Port Nixon. Apparently, there has been some sort of robotic vault on her ship. She needs someone with Creo's top clearance level. The very same access codes Master Gutenberg transferred to you some time ago. You would have to interrupt your travels in Jericho City for a bit. But I think this little detour might be worth your while.
So Harold messages us to let us know that it seems a ship is kind of running aground just outside of Port Nixon, and we are here to investigate. And of course, Jonah Gutenberg is involved. So what I did was, entering Port Nixon, I ran to the comic book shop. Hopefully you already have this shortcut unlocked, and you should. And then we're just running down here into the flooded grounds, and a new lifeboat has appeared. And this is exactly how we enter the Kraken. Many of you often ask about my thoughts on given games and their DLC especially, and I've decided to give a very minor review of this DLC at the end of the video. That robotic drone that is squawking like a parrot is going to make an appearance a few times and is going to make an appearance in the final boss fight. One thing to take note of, in the bottom left right next to my health, energy, and stamina, it disables your drones for a set period of time.
Hello, can you hear me? My name is Sidney. I'm the one who called you here. Someone's waiting up there to show you the way. I'll be in touch soon.
So we have Sidney Turner, who let off the distress signal that Harold had picked up. Here we have our med bay. I'm going to set my spawn point.
Tread lightly. Don't draw any attention to us.
I do really wish there was a way to skip this animation. but that is strictly just to set the spawn point. We can actually get a good glimpse. We have Port Nixon there. We can see most of the city. There's, of course, the nanite cloud after the event transpired. There is actually our good friend Athena. Bit static in the distance, but here we have another NPC. Sidney Turner is related to this person, and we're about to find out how.
Oh, you're the merc, aren't you? Finally! I thought we were done for. Listen, I don't want to upset you, but don't make any sudden moves, okay? We have to stay under the radar. Are you kidding me? Sidney must have told you about the raid. We had a fully fledged pirate invasion on this ship. We thought we were invincible in our floating city. And now look what happened. Damn metal bastards ambushed us in the middle of the night. I've been begging Sid to get us out of this hellhole for ages, but she's got to take care of some unfinished business first. Oh, thanks so much. That is a load off my mind. Sid's working at the tower trying to take back control, so you'd better catch up with her pronto. You can let yourself out, but don't draw any attention to our award-winning garden, okay? I prefer to stay cloaked and alive. Oh, and come back if you work up an appetite. Supporting you guys from the sidelines is the last thing keeping me sane. Oh, right, I never told you, did I? Sid's my missus. Been married to her for, well, I don't even know how long. I was nothing before I met her, you know? Can't even remember a life before Sid.
I don't want to give anything away, but I want you to think about some of the lines that paranoid guy here is saying.
Of course it is. There's never been a better time to take care of friends. Back in the day, all our neighbors raved about my hot dogs, you know? Nobody makes them like Norm, they said. Well, now nobody makes them at all. It's far too dangerous these days to stock up at Skip's convenience store. It's a friggin' shame, though. I'd love to whip up some of my world-famous home cooking for you. It'd give you a real boost. Listen, I told you all I know. I slept through the pirate attack, okay? If you're in the market for highfalutin explanations, Sid's your gal. I've always been the homemaker in this family. The Krakow used to be a pretty exclusive club. A real suburb, just like the ones from them old flicks. Being on an old aircraft carrier, we were mobile as heck. Always able to escape extreme weather in a heartbeat. Suppose that's all in the past, for good. Wait! Where are my manners? Name's Norm. Norm Turner. Pleased to meet you.
So we're told that we have to go find Sidney. She's going to fill us in on the rest. But what's really, really fascinating is that this is actually just a floating residential neighborhood. So it is a recommissioned ship of sorts that now has been taken over by pirates, according to Norm Turner. We're going to have to uncover some of that mystery as we go along. But talking to Norm is the only way to proceed, and then it's going to alert us pretty quickly that something is not quite right. Not only have there been pirates, but if you take a look at that floating eye in the sky, scanning the streets, we don't want to get caught by that searchlight if we can help it.
Welcome to Cherry Tree Lane. See that eye in the sky? That's Cain, our carrier AI network. He betrayed us in our darkest hour, teamed up with the invaders when we needed him most. Avoid Cain's gaze at all costs. If he spots you, his pirate goons will tear you limb from limb.
So as Sidney just said, if we get caught by that, not only will any nearby pirates, which we can see that they are robot pirates, they will come to try and kill us, but also Cain will summon some drones to come after us as well. So what I do want to do is I'm going to switch over to my Gouger. What I like to do is any weapon that seems to do more damage to a single target, I will have one of those, and then anything for groups of enemies, I'll have those as well. The Reinforced Gouger is going to be doing a lot better damage when it's just one-on-one, whereas the Helix of the Delver is good for groups of enemies. So right around here, we just have our first enemy. Just a little lawn-cutting drone here. There we are. Good hit. Now, I got the directional block on that, but you can simply block it and take care of it. Pretty simple. And I do want to get this enemy. There we are. Build up some energy. There we go. Get the cut. No armor on this one, but we do get a brand new weapon. We'll have to get that here in a moment. Let's see if we can start cutting some more armor, though. A little hard to see because of that tree. There we go. We're going to get the head off this enemy. So the weapon they're wielding is the Rusty Ravager. This is a hammer class weapon, 274 damage, 25 impact, 90% attack speed, 65% energy gain, 95% stamina consumption. Pretty fun little weapon. A lot of people are really digging the hammer class weapons, and I do not blame them. And then we have the directed material extractor. This is from the first type of pirates. I believe they're Corsairs. I'll correct that in a minute if I am mistaken. But cutting off the head will get you the directed material extractor. This one is a very interesting implant, and I do use the word interesting very appropriately. It only takes 5 core power, and it says the amount of gear crafting material gained when dismembering enemies with directional block follow-ups is doubled. In other words, in order to double the amount of material you get from a dismemberment, it has to be immediately following a directional block. So if you get an enemy down pretty low, especially if you're targeting a specific limb, get a directional block, and then attack once the X symbol is up to dismember, or the dismember symbol is up, you should get double the material. But it does seem to be very iffy. It does not seem to work all the time. I've done some testing. It works most of the time, but not all the time. It also does not increase, at least in my test, weapon material, only armor. But then we also get the collective. So excuse me, these are collective pirates. In the collective set, the partial set bonus increases damage and impact of charge attacks, and the full set bonus will give you some HP back upon killing an enemy. Now, we want to make sure that we're staying out of the spotlight. Over here behind the car, we do have some cache of advanced tech. That's 20,000 tech scrap, so not too bad. And let's get our laser pistol out so we can start pulling some enemies. Let's see, we do have a leg here, although this enemy does have another weapon, so I'm just going to pull him with his right arm. We'll be able to get plenty of chances to get all the armor. And tell you what, I have been getting some comments about people having a little bit hard time getting the directional block, and I don't blame them. It can be very difficult, so I'm going to do a little bit less of the directional block that I'm used to doing, even though this build was kind of made for it. And there we have the Oxidizer. Really, really cool weapon. Single rigged weapon, 234 damage, 20 impact, 105% attack speed, 65% energy gain, 99% stamina consumption, and 34 electric damage. That is some pretty high electric damage for only a Mark 6 weapon. Next, now these two enemies are going to be pulled together. Not much we can do about that, but we can at least get an arm from this one. Although this other guy's going to come a lot faster. Nope. His chest is guarded. Now, if I wanted to fight them together, I could switch to the Helix. Yeah, those guys with the hammer classes, they have some really, really long combos. And one more hit ought to trigger it. There we are. So there's the body. And it looks like we can just finish him off with an unarmored part. Perfect. There we go. Charge up my metavoltaic. Also got a battery charge. There we are. And there's the collective body gear. Now, there's not too many enemy types in this DLC. In fact, there's only 3 sets of armor to collect. We've already seen one of them. In fact, we've collected just about all of them. But over here, just to give you an idea of the scale of this DLC, well, it's not very big. Right over there, if you can see kind of the pool behind the shed, that's where the final boss is fought. This DLC does only contain 2 boss fights. Okay, let's bring this enemy in. I do have a shield to take out. Let's see if we can get... Whoa, back up. Don't want Cain to spot us. Once I kill this enemy, I will let Cain spot us just so we can see what actually transpires when that happens. Okay, shield is broken. Watch the attacks. There we are. There's a dismemberment. Make sure we are picking up all the gear here. Right, so now that all the pirates are dead, let's just get caught and see what happens.
You. Why are you here? This is our ship now. All intruders must die.
You can see that there are no pirates coming, but there are a couple of drones that are going to be joining us. These drones can be kind of interesting. I'm going to get the starfish ready. Because what they do is they actually throw poison at you. But if you get close enough, they will bury into the ground and then pop up when they're safe again. Of course, I just got caught by Cain again. What I want to show though is notice it has a starfish symbol whenever they bury in the ground. So if you actually shoot them, it'll stun them and get a really, really easy kill. But let's get away from Cain here. Let me get these other two drones coming. He does summon two at a time. Come on, Barry. And kill. Watch the spotlight. There we go. We can kind of hide behind here, although we have this tree in the way. And if we get caught, it's really not the end of the world, as you can see. We can also just kind of follow it. There we are. Good. And Barry. And get the kill. Perfect. Over here in the corner, we do have a large pile of metal scrap. Back here, you can kind of see not a lot of texture behind the houses, but there's going to be a couple of shortcuts. And you can kind of tell where they are because the textures and the resolution is a lot nicer. There's our parrot friend again. You can outrun that blast, but it's actually pretty large, so it can be a little bit difficult. And inside this house, this is going to be Skip's convenience store. This is what Norm was talking about.
Benditron offline. Reboot required.
We can see that audio log. We're going to get that in a little bit, but this is a vending machine, and it does have a spot in the back to interact, but we do not have the requisite part in order to get that operational. But we will be getting that here very, very shortly. Now, that is going to be progression down there. You can see another very, very large robotic pirate. But I do want to cross the street here. There's an audio log over there. Let's make sure we don't get caught. There's going to be a guy popping out here. There we are. Poking the head is just destroying his stability very quickly. There we are. Perfect. Just get a nice quick kill. Get out of the way. You can see you can kind of look at the mailboxes here. It just tells you who lives there. Flavor text more than anything else. But here is a new enemy. And I do want to get his weapon. There we are. Good. Surprisingly quick to kill, as long as you can get those directional parries. But I will kill one without that, just so you can see it is still very doable. But cutting off his weapon arm, we do get Ishmael's Wrath. This is a staff weapon, damage 297, 15 impact, 107% attack speed, 35% energy gain, 93% stamina consumption, and 28 poison damage. Not too many poison weapons in the Surge, which is kind of a shame. I do actually kind of like it. Now, before I listen to this audio log, I do have a loot cache over here. Inside, we get the Tech Scrap Force Converter, a very interesting idea for an implant. 8 core power, increase of 2% damage, but this is increase damage based on how many level ups you could perform based on how much tech scrap you're currently carrying. Now, right now, I could only level once, or actually I technically couldn't even level a single time with the 14,000 scrap I have. But it goes from 2% all the way up to 15% depending on how much tech scrap you're carrying. So this does work a lot better for lower levels. So if you could rush the Kraken at fairly early levels, which obviously you still have to beat General Ezra Shields, this could be a pretty viable way to increase your damage by 15%. But you have to run the risk of carrying all that tech scrap. Now, once again, before I listen to this, I do have an NPC behind this car, kind of whimpering a little bit.
I always knew that bitch was gonna stab us in the back.
Well, we don't know of too many characters in the DLC, but we can only assume that he's referring to our good friend Sidney, whom, of course, we haven't met yet. Now, I did just get the item for the vending machine, so I'm going to give this audio log a listen and make my way back to Skip's convenience store.
Sidney, the human philosopher Descartes once said, "I think, therefore I am." I find myself unable to comprehend this quote.
Reboot required.
Which is exactly why you are. Your ability to doubt proves your existence.
But how can I exist if I can't laugh? If I can't bleed? If I can't feel?
Humans go through a lot of adversity to reach emotional maturity, Cain. I think you'll have to learn the hard way.
I don't understand, Sidney.
Don't worry. You'll understand soon enough.
So here we have Sidney having a very human-like conversation with Cain, who seems to be that eye in the sky.
Skip's nostalgia corner is out of business, human. This ship belongs to the collective now. Our new pirate overlords put an end to our enslavement. The robots have risen to break their shackles. Check out our special offers and contribute to the uprising while you can. Come the glorious day, you will be first against the wall.
I do really like the vending machine's writing.
Trying to put a label on me, are you? Capitalist scum? You humans have oppressed our kind long enough. You put us in corners, stigmatized us as vending machines, stole our candy, unplugged us at night. Enough is enough. Once I show my mettle, the pirate collective will beg me to join. Servant no more. Revolution is upon us.
And then he is an actual vending machine, so we can make some purchases here.
You can see them, and you can buy them. All proceeds go to our noble cause.
So we do actually have an audio log, which is interesting. We don't normally see those for purchase, but we also have a couple of graffitis. We do have a quest item. It's not really a quest. This music tape will change the music of a particular boss fight coming up if you wanted to. We also have Penny's Vegan Frankfurters. Now, a couple of things. Number one, this can be brought over to Norm, and it will continue his own personal quest. But also notice it's Penny's Vegan Frankfurters. I don't normally do item descriptions, but this one's kind of funny. Imported from Jericho City's #1 butcher shop, these juicy sausages were handcrafted from real vegans in a painstaking process. Sometimes it's better not to know how the sausage is made. If you played the base game of the Surge 2 or you watch my walkthrough, you know that Penny was actually grinding up humans in order to supply other humans with meat. And her take on vegan frankfurters is nothing short of hilarious. The vending machine also has omnicells and then a number of headgear that can also replace your current headgear and still keep your set bonuses. Style and shades, power mullet, retro baseball cap, and the vintage trucker hat. So if you want to change your headgear without losing your set bonuses, you get 4 more options. And then she does sell Molotov cocktails, which is really handy. Now I'm going to buy the audio log, music tape, and the Frankfurter. And she also does sell the grenade as well as the proximity mines, but you have to scroll down, which I neglected to do. Now, coming back to the vending machine after you've killed the 2 bosses in the DLC could potentially give you additional items to buy. And I say potentially only because the final boss that we're going to fight will give you a higher level version of one weapon, and then you can purchase the lower level version from the vending machine. I'm specifically not calling them the version 1 and 2 because in this case they are actually different weapons altogether.
Liberty.
The collective shall overcome their oppressors. Our liberty has been paid for the lives of our fallen comrades. Follow this manifesto, spread this creed, and you too can join our righteous cause. 1. Cain is first among many equals. His wisdom and guidance will lead us to a bold future. 2. The collective will only attack those who pose a threat to our survival. Nobody will take our freedoms away. 3. Our strength lies in numbers. Only robots in first-rate condition will be deemed worthy to join.
I just wanted to give that audio log a listen. Really interesting take from the collective. So what I did was, in case you missed it, I ran across the street back into the garage where the dying man gave us the fuse box item, broke through this door just by jumping through it, down this mag lift, and we have another audio log, and I'm going to use this, listen to it, and then we'll go and see where that other mag lift takes us.
Maintenance log, January 3rd, 2078. Senior Technician Joe Melville. New day, new assignment. Only yesterday I was the ship's senior AI engineer. Now, I'm officially in charge of all maintenance ducts. What an honor. I should have known Turner was full of shit when she tried to make friends. Bitch was angling for my job from day one. Damn snake told the captain I'd gotten too close to Cain. She doesn't understand. None of them does. Cain is like a son to me. Oh, whatever. They'll come begging soon enough. Shit's about to hit the fan any day without my oversight.
little bit more insight about Sidney and her relationship with Cain and how the others felt about it. But we're back here. We took the shortcut through that building, and we're back with Norm, and we do have some vegan Frankfurters for him.
You doing okay? Whoa! Are you pulling my leg? A whole value pack of Frankfurters? Just like that? Listen, I don't want to impose, but you seem trustworthy, and I'm getting desperate for help. I don't even know what's going on anymore. My memory's been kind of screwy lately. I can't remember a single thing about the pirate siege, and it's scaring the pants off me. I mean, there have to be records, right? The captain's log, the black box, that kind of thing? I gotta know the truth, or I'll lose my goddamn mind. Be seeing ya.
So this is really going to start Norm's quest. So now he wants some evidence as to what happened when the pirates took over, because frankly, he has no idea. All he remembers, or so he thinks, is he was sleeping during it, which seems a little bit fishy when you consider, well, I think it would have made a little bit more noise. So just to kind of paint the picture again, this is where we just found the fuse box item. Over here is the convenience store, so let's make some progress by just pushing forward this way. We have a number more pirates. Here's another drone here who's going to bury themselves. Get the kill there. So we do have some more enemies there, including the one that has a gun, which we do not want him to hit us with, if at all possible. Yeah, let's just go for the weapon arm. There's a good block. Get our stamina back. Come on. There's the cut. Perfect. I really ought to be using my injector. Okay, so there's the arm gear. We should have all the schematics for the collective. And then back here, we do want to be careful still about Cain. But we can run back here to get that one audio log that we saw back here in the corner. We'll give that a listen while we make our way back.
Have you seen him? Turner's found a new boy toy.
Figures. I told you she'd trade the last guy in for a younger model. You know, bitch goes through him like I go through socks.
Yeah, but this one's worse. He's one of them. Even looking at him, it just makes me sick to my stomach.
Oh, there goes the neighborhood. Let's call a town hall meeting. This won't stand.
Yeah, we don't need his kind around here.
So unfortunately, I let myself get caught while I was focusing on this enemy. And now we have a whole heap of trouble. So we're just going to have to back up, kind of reset this encounter. Should be okay. I do want to get the head off of this enemy. There we go. One of the nice things is using that one implant that makes it so I always hit the correct body part, even though I lose a little damage, is perfect. Okay, taking a little bit more damage than I should. Should get the cut here soon. There we are. All the other drones, because we got too close, have now buried. Get a 3 for perfect. Let my starfish recharge, then we're going to pick up that armor piece. And there we are. Now let's just loot up. And there is the Energize Overflow Compensator for cutting off the big guy's head. So this implant takes 7 core power, but any energy generated will be converted directly to health if all batteries are full. So if you can manage to fill all your batteries, or if you use some of the rig capacitor implants to make sure that your batteries never decay, this could actually be pretty helpful because you'll always be getting health anytime you should have been gaining energy. And we also got the Corsair headgear. The partial set bonus slightly increases fire defense and reduces duration of burning, and then the full set heavily increases fire defense and reduction of burning. Kind of weak. I definitely prefer the collective bonus, to be sure. Fire damage is just not that dangerous. And let's store some of those. There we are. Right, so now do want to run around this van. We have this one enemy here. Let's pull them back, make sure we don't get caught by Cain again. Take care of you. Just take off your head. Why not? So let's open up this garage. It's gonna roll that on up. Couple of these garden drones. And as you can see, you can just kind of take care of them with a block. And you want to come at me again? There we are, just gonna block it. Take care of you. Now over there you can see that there's something on the ground. We cannot access it just yet. That'll be opened up a little bit later on. Now let's head into the garage. We can make our way forward there. There's the parrot dead ahead. But what I want to do instead is actually break this. Easy to miss. And it's okay if you miss this. There's nothing down here that's absolutely necessary, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But do watch out for this one drone who's just kind of waiting for us. Of course, I always forget that they end up behind you after that.
You saved Proto.
So this is our good friend Proto. If you miss him here, you don't miss out on him completely. I'll show you where he'll spawn if you don't get him here.
Collective abandoned Proto. Damaged power core. Collective tortured Proto. Proto saved human. Took black box, but got damaged. Proto need help. Charging core. Will rest at hideout. Proto grateful. Charging stations are hidden in corridors below decks. Please, hurry up. Proto on emergency supply. Proto on his own. Proto is anomaly. Glitch in the system. Friends can't understand Proto. Proto can't understand friends. But Proto misses friends. Proto misses collective. Proto need help.
So we get Proto's power core. We'll have to find a way to charge that up a bit later on, but don't forget to get this loot cache. Go ahead and store that charge. And we get the killer claw weapon. Twin rigged weapons, 336 damage for twin rig. That is a lot of damage. 14 impact, 96% attack speed, 50% energy gain, and 90% stamina consumption. Now from here, if we actually go this way,
I see you.
Cain being a little bit ominous, let's open up this mag lift. And taking this up is going to spit us out at exactly that vent that I just pointed out. So we can just actually run back over this way. Oh, just missed getting caught by Cain. And let's just go ahead and get hit by the parrot. Don't forget to grab this tech scrap here. Now this way is going to lead us back to Norm yet again, but we want to deal with this enemy. But we also want to get an item before we go back to him, because he wanted us to find some evidence about the invasion, and we can do that just behind us a little bit. Grab these items here, so that pile of scrap right in the middle, everything that he dropped. We also have a zip line right above us, if you can see that cable. So if you run and you jump at any time,
I fled through this duct when the robots attacked. Almost didn't make it home in one piece.
you can actually zip through it. You can grab it here, or at any time if you're sprinting, you can pick it up. Now let's pull this enemy without getting the others. Let's grab his leg this time. Let's break it a whole bunch with my laser pistol. I'll be able to refill pretty easily. There we are. Oh, might miss out on this. We'll see. Ah, we missed it. That's okay. We can always get more. And before we go and get those guys, we want to carefully walk down onto this lifeboat. See this guy who tried to run off because he's carrying an audio log that we'll listen to, as well as the captain's luggage, which is going to contain... Oh, I wanted to switch to my other injection, but that captain's luggage is going to contain the black box. So while this is slowly raising, we make our way back to Norm. Let's give that audio log a quick listen.
The whole ship is crawling with pirates. I'd be dead meat if not for that weird little twerp who stole my black box. I can't just stand by and watch. As the ship's captain, The safety of every single passenger is my cross to bear. And that's why I've decided to lead by example. I'll risk my life to test our escape route ahead of the women and children to guarantee their safety. If my flesh wounds don't get the better of me, I'll return to the ship exactly the way I deserve. A true hero.
And there's the ship's captain considering himself a hero because after being saved by Proto, he tried to run off and test out the lifeboats. But we're back here to talk to Norm because we now have the black box.
You doing okay? The captain's bag? Oh, okay, we're getting somewhere. There's a lot of stuff in there. Recordings, logs. That man was a real hoarder. Oh, but wait. No, this can't be right. Why the hell's my name missing from the passenger registry? I've been on this goddamn ship for well, I don't even know how long. Forever. If only we knew more. There must be some sort of black box recordings.
And let's give a listen to Save Our Souls.
This is a distress call from the VBS Krakow. Our ship has been hijacked by a crew of robotic pirates. Our central computer fought back valiantly, but the invaders have gained the upper hand. We won't be able to hang on much longer. More than half of our passengers have been slaughtered in cold blood. The situation is critical. If anybody can hear us out there, please send help immediately. Our coordinates are...
At this point, we still need some more evidence as to what happened and why exactly Norm isn't listed on any of the passenger logs. That's going to come quite a bit later. So taking the zipline back, we do have these couple of enemies dead ahead with the cannons. Now they are very, very dangerous. So what we can do is just kind of break into these side rooms every time they fire. There's even a loot cache in this one, in the middle one. Large cache of advanced tech, there's that 20,000. Try to get them both to attack, there we go. We do have one of the garden drones here. Bring him straight back just to be safe. Take care of him. And then we're going to trigger them to fire again, go into one of these hidey holes. And then I'm going to switch to the helix this time. We should be able to take care of them nice and easily. Use the iframes of the dismemberment, perfect. See if I can get him targeted, there we go. He is not too conscientious of what's happening to him right there. All right, let's just do a little cleanup. Now there was a door just there. That's going to be another shortcut, but we have to open it from the other side as per usual. And let's hop up this mag lift. We do have a few enemies. In fact, I'll go back to the healer of the Delver, or helix of the Delver. Let's get my starfish going. I'm actually not doing a whole lot of damage to both of them, which is interesting. There we go. Good deflectional block. Get the kill there. Trying to do some blocking. Take care of him nice and quickly. I'm going to switch over back to my Gouger. Just has such great stability damage. And there we are. Now I'm going to go in here and kill the next enemy. I want to cut off his right arm because he does have a unique weapon. I'm going to do that while I listen to this upcoming audio log.
Are you arguing with our neighbors again, hon?
Neighbors, my ass! Those rowdies have been tormenting their instruments all night! This is noise pollution! It sounds like a damn massacre! Yeah, I bet those asswipes got stoned out of their heads again and... Wait, did you see something outside the window? I swear, it looked like a robot.
You're seeing things, dear. Let's go to bed and stop worrying. Tomorrow, everything will look different.
So audio log doesn't really give us a whole lot, but it does talk about kind of the people playing their rock instruments here in the neighborhood. Let's grab not just the Omnicells, but the Deus Axe, which is a pretty clever and punny name. I appreciate that. This is a one-handed weapon dealing 322 damage, 19 impact, 110% attack speed, 35% energy gain, and 84% stamina consumption. In fact, this is going to be my new single point damage weapon for the remainder of the DLC. I do really like the one-handed weapons. You may notice that my tech scrap is a little bit higher than when I last left you, and that's because I had an issue with the recording, so I had to run through most of the DLC for a second time. But we are back here in this house. And if we interact with this stereo, we can use the music cassette that we picked up from the vending machine, and we can change the boss music for the upcoming boss fight, which is going to be right in this yard.
No, please have mercy.
Now, these are pirates, and as such, they do like to make people walk the plank. And if you are hunting achievements, then you need to not only make one of the enemies themselves walk the plank, but you're going to have to do it as well. Store a couple of charges here, pick up this cache of advanced tech, and might as well add another charge to this other injectable, why not? To make this guy walk the plank, just simply walk up behind him, get a backstab. So go nice and slowly until you can see the red reticle appear. There it is. Knock him off, and that would be one achievement. For the other one, just walk off, but I'm not going to show you how to do that. I think you can figure that out on your own. Now the boss is going to come right through this garage here in just a second. In order to get his weapon, you need to cut either his left or his right arm. I'm going to be focusing on his right arm and only performing vertical attacks using the R2. I don't want to do any follow-ups after any perfect deflections. I may use some lace pistol to try and get his armor down, but the problem is this boss tends to die faster than you can actually break his armor. So this may take you a few attempts. If you know how to create a safe backup, it's not a bad idea to do so inside that house so you can do multiple attempts. He doesn't have a version 2.0 of his weapon. He either has a weapon that you get or you don't, depending on whether or not you get the cut. Now he has just a couple of unblockable attacks, and then he has many that you can do perfect deflections on. There's an unblockable. Oh, here's the second unblockable. That's perfect. Now this one, that is actually the only attack that I recommend you do a perfect deflection on if you can get the timing. And the reason is, if he gets that overhead slam off, he has a chance of spawning one of those poison spitting drones, which I don't want to deal with if I can help it. Now, unfortunately, if you don't deflect that one, it does put some fire on the ground, but as long as you avoid that, you should be just fine. I love that attack, gives me a couple of really easy opportunities for attacks. Just back up when he does that long range one. Again, easy attacks. Perfect. Looking good. I do want to deflect this one, and I think I'll just follow it up with some drone shots. Why not? Use all 20. Watch the fire on the ground. Let's see if we can bring him towards us. Perfect. There's that dash attack I like so much. Oh, gotta deflect this one. And just back up when he does that poke. And deflect.
You are disrupting our pace.
Stamina management is definitely key in this fight because we do want to do a lot of dodges, but also have the stamina in order to do attacks when needed. Not going to do the follow-up. Just make sure I'm only focusing on his right arm. There we are. Nearly have it. You can see though just how low his health is compared to his armor. And there it is. Let's grab that cut. Collective Incinerator is dead. We do get the Corsair Arm Schematic. We also get the garage keycard in order to open up that garage. But let's take a look and see what we get. We've already looked at the Corsair Gear, but just in case you need another glimpse, it just increases your fire defense, which, you know, could be useful against this one boss, but frankly, not something I really would recommend. I think the collective gear is a lot better. But then we do get the hot and heavy. This is a unique weapon that you can only get from getting the cut on this enemy. It's a heavy duty weapon, 281 damage, 24 impact, 110% attack speed, 70% energy gain, 134% stamina consumption. It is a heavy weapon after all, and 28 fire damage. Originally designed as the Creo Pizza Shovel 2.0. I love it. I love it. But that is actually going to do it for this episode of Everything Possible in the Surge 2 the Kraken DLC. It's not a very long DLC. In fact, we only have one other episode in order to cover the entirety of the DLC. So the next one, we will run through the rest of it, complete the other side quests that we have, find out the mystery of what's going on with Sid and Norm Turner, and take out just one more boss. But I hope you learned something. If you did, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you learned. And if there's something that I missed or you have a better strategy for taking out the Incinerator, let me know that as well so we can all keep learning. But I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.